Let's get started, shall we? To get us started, I'd like to invite Ms. Ajoba Chiama, the Executive Director of the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, to deliver her opening remarks. Shall we welcome her with a round of applause?
On behalf of the membership of the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Management and Executive Council, I'd like to add my voice to Joanne to warmly welcome you to this breakfast meeting themed Enhancing SME Access to International Financial Services. It is a part of a series of trade-ready SMEs events that Ghana International Bank has been hosting, and is focused on building capacity of SMEs for global markets. I would like to use this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation to our valued platinum member, Ghana International Bank, for making today possible. GHIB, for short, has been a long-standing advocate for facilitating trade finance and supporting Ghanaian businesses to expand beyond borders. And we are delighted to further enhance our collaboration through this initiative. At the UKGCC, our mission is clear: to facilitate trade, investment, and sustainable partnerships between the UK and Ghana. We have been doing this through our core pillars of networking, trade services, and advocacy, and this morning's event sits right at the heart of that mission. We recognize that SMEs are the backbone of Ghana's economy, driving innovation, job creation, and exports. Yet access to international financial services remains one of the biggest hurdles they face. Indeed, cost of capital and access to capital has featured consistently as a poorly rated business component in our annual business environment and competitiveness survey in the last 6 years since we have been running the survey. From currency risk and collateral requirements to navigating compliance and documentation, these are very real challenges that limit the ability to grow, compete, and trade internationally. That is why today's conversation is so important. Together with GHIB, we want to unpack these challenges and explore practical, actionable solutions that will make international financing more accessible and inclusive for SMEs. It is also an opportunity for our members and stakeholders to connect directly with financial experts, exporters, and trade facilitators, and to learn about innovative financial instruments and risk management tools. We hope that by the end of this session, participants will leave not just informed, but empowered to take the next steps in scaling their businesses globally. I would like to once again thank Ghana International Bank for their leadership and support, and to acknowledge all our distinguished speakers, panelists, and to all of you here for sharing your time and expertise with us this morning. We look forward to meaningful conversations and tangible outcomes that strengthen Ghana's SME ecosystem and advance our shared goal of inclusive economic growth. Thank you once again for being here, and I wish you a productive and engaging session ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Ajoba, for your opening remarks. Shall we, with a round of applause, welcome Ms. Ophelia Tobra, the Chief Banking Officer for Ghana International Bank, to deliver her opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see full house, almost a full house. I thought I'd not be as adventurous as Ajoba to climb the podium. Even though I'm in trousers, I thought, no, I won't take the risk. So I'm here down on the floor with the rest of you. First of all, I'd just like to say I've seen a lot of old faces from my previous time when I worked in Ghana as a banker. I've been away for about 6 years, operating out of the UK, and obviously I haven't seen some of the faces for a long while. It's really nice to see some old faces. I think one even goes back as far as 20 years, so it's nice to see everybody here, and thank you for coming. I think I'll go into my speech. Good morning, distinguished guests. I have to follow the protocols, esteemed partners from the banks and financial institutions, respected business leaders, Chamber of Commerce, valued members of the UK business community, friends of the media, Government of Ghana trade promotion leaders, Akwaba to all of you. I understand it's now in vogue to say Abache. I hope I pronounced it right, but yeah, I've been asked to mention those words here. It is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you all on behalf of Ghana International Bank PLC to this important gathering. GHIB TradeFast for SMEs today. We come together at a time of transformation in global trade, united by a shared interest in strengthening Ghana's small and medium enterprises and enhancing their participation in international markets. We are especially honored to host this event in collaboration with the UK Chamber of Commerce, whose dedication to enterprise development and trade facilitation continues to inspire. I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Ajoba and her team, exceptional team, for the professionalism and shared commitment for today's program. As a UK-based institution with deep African roots, GIB has been around since 1959, engaged with businesses, financial institutions, and governments to support trade and economic development across the continent. SMEs have always played a central role in this engagement, and we remain committed to understanding their evolving needs. Although I would say GHIB typically hasn't been in the forefront of SME financing, we have supported through financial institutions and our partners. So I know ADB is here, GCB and so forth, Consolidated Bank Ghana. We've done a lot of support through these financial institutions to SMEs. Today's session is an opportunity to reflect on the changing dynamics of global trade and the implications for Ghanaian enterprises. A supply chain shift and digital platforms expand SMEs are increasingly positioned to access new markets, provided they have the right knowledge, network, and institutional support. GHIB continues to participate in conversations around trade finance and cross-border banking. From our office in London and Accra, we share insights on topics such as transaction structuring, liquidity management, risk mitigations. We also encourage with Ghana's financial ecosystem, including commercial banks, development finance institutions, and Exim Ghana, to explore ways SMEs can navigate trade challenges and pursue growth. We recognize that behind every enterprise is a team of individuals, entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals working to build something meaningful. GHIB provides information on banking options that may support these individuals in managing their financial affairs across borders, including account service in major currencies. Today is not about products, it's about dialogue. We are here to listen, to learn, and to better understand the realities facing Ghana's SMEs. Whether you are exploring new markets, seeking operational insights, or simply looking to connect with peers, we hope this forum provides a space for meaningful exchange. Our team in Accra, we have a team of about 20, and London. In London, we're about 200 or so operating out of London. And we all remain available to continue these conversations beyond today's events. We thank you for your presence. We look forward to the ideas, questions, and perspectives you all have to share. So once again, I'd like to thank you all. GHIB is committed to supporting SME finance. We realize there's a lot of opportunity in the space globally. Like I said earlier, SME, especially in Africa, accounts for about 80% of businesses. But given sometimes the structure of the businesses, sometimes their access to capital and markets is very difficult. But with our experience, I believe GHIB is in a better place to support SME financing going forward. So we look forward to more discussions. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Madame Ophelia Atobra. This is an opportunity to listen, learn, and understand the challenges that SMEs face. So to take us on a journey of understanding, we will take our keynote presentation from Mr. Davis Kobo, President of the Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters. Shall we welcome him with a round of applause?
Thank you very much. And I bring you greetings from the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters. Let me also take the privilege to appreciate the presence of a mentor, Dr. Foster Boateng. I think he's been very, very, very helpful to Faith and my person. So, small and medium-sized enterprises are unquestionably the lifeblood of Ghana's economy. They contribute over 70% of employment opportunities and account for 60% of our GDP. Yet, despite the remarkable contribution, the access to international finance remains a critical bottleneck that constrains growth and limits potential. His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, has charged Faith with ambitious mandates. That is to drive 5 billion in export revenue by 2027. How do we do it? Achieving these targets requires 3 fundamental pillars: financial inclusion, export competitiveness, and robust international financing partnerships. The challenge landscape. 1, to limited access to trade finance. SMEs struggle to secure foreign exchange facilities and trade finance, products essential for cross-border transactions. Stringent requirements. International banks impose demand collateral and due diligence requirements that many SMEs cannot meet. Documentation gaps. Poor compliance with global banking standards, including AML, KYC, and ESG protocols creates barriers. Knowledge deficits. Limited understanding of financial instruments, such as letters of credit, forfeiting, or buyer's credit arrangements. The results: SMEs lose out on lucrative cross-border trade opportunities and remain chronically undercapitalized, unable to scale their operations or compete globally. And one of the challenges also is logistics. The global shift, a new financial ecosystem, emerging trends reshaping trade finance, that's fintech platforms, rise of innovative fintech solutions simplifying trade payments and reducing transactions costs, marketplace traceability and digital identity, distributed ledger, technology and digital identity solutions dramatically improving transparency and trust, development finance, AFD, Afri-Exim, and IFC offering SME-friendly trade finance lines with favorable terms. The lessons for Ghana: we must build robust bridges connecting Ghanaian SMEs to these rapidly evolving global financial systems. The infrastructures exist. We need strategic partnership to assess it. The Ghanaian context, that's untapped potential. Ghana's exports are growing steadily, yet they remain dominated by raw commodities that capture limited value. The true potential lies with our SMEs, particularly in value-added exports across horticulture, agri-tech, manufacturing, and creative industries. Horticulture and agri-tech, premium fresh produce and processed agricultural products ready for European markets. Manufacturing excellence, light manufacturing and assembly operations serving regional and international markets. Creative industries, fashion, textiles and design products capturing global attention with authentic African aesthetics. Phase vision is to enable Ghanaian SMEs to trade confidently and competitively in global markets through accessible, affordable, transparent, and timely international finance. Now, the 5 billion ambition. Our objective is clear and ambitious. Grow Ghana's non-traditional exports from approximately 3.6 billion US dollars in 2023 to $5 billion by 2027. This presents not merely incremental growth, but transformational change. International finance access. Unlock credit facilities and foreign services for export-ready SMEs. Value addition, move beyond raw material to process, branded market-ready products. Market diversification, expand reach across EU, UK, Asia, Middle East markets. Digital enablement, leverage commerce and digital platforms for trade facilitation. Financial inclusion at the core. No SME can successfully export without reliable access to credit facilities and foreign exchange services. This is the foundation upon which all other success factors rest. Strategic interventions, a 4-pillar approach. SME Exports Finance Guarantee Scheme. A phased GIB partnership creating a blended finance model backed by Ghana International Bank to de-risk SME export lending and unlock commercial bank participation. Trade documentation clinics. Phase-led comprehensive training programs delivered in partnership with UKGCC, covering export documentation, letter of credit management, and international due diligence requirements. Digital export finance platform. Launch an integrated online portal seamlessly connecting SMEs to financial institutions, export issuers, and verify international buyers in a secure environment. Phage Export Accelerator. Identify, rigorously assess, and intensively mentor 100 export-ready SMEs annually, preparing them to successfully access global finance and penetrate international markets. Ghana International Bank, the strategic bridge. Strategic role and the value proposition. Ghana International Bank occupies a unique position as a vital bridge between Ghanaian SMEs and global banking networks. GIB provides essential correspondent banking services, foreign exchange risk management, and secure payment facilitation that smaller enterprises cannot access independently. Co-branded financial literacy, a joint phase GIB program building SME capacity in international finance. Dedicated SME trade desks, specialist desks in both Accra and London providing personalized support. Credit export insurance, partnership with Ghana Exim Bank to introduce comprehensive insurance products, very important. Policy and institutional enablers, government's critical role. That's tax incentives. Provide attractive tax incentives specifically designed for export finance instruments and international trade transactions. Infrastructure investments. Dramatically improve export infrastructure, particularly port efficiency, customs processing, and logistics networks. Standard alignments. strengthen regulatory alignment with UK and EU trade standards to sanitary requirements and quality certifications, phase advocacy agenda, 24-hour economy integration, champion SME finance inclusion in Ghana's ambitious 24-hour economy plan for accelerated growth, development finance partnership, build strategic partnership with Afrexim and IFC to secure dedicated SME credit lines and with favorable terms. UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce partnership with growth. Business linkages is what we're looking for to facilitate strategic UK-Ghana connections and the sophisticated investor matchmaking. Trade exports promotion. Showcased phage SMEs at prestigious UKGCC trade exhibition and investment forums. Diaspora investment. Enable diaspora and British investors to co-finance promising export clusters. Priority focus sectors. Agribusiness and processed foods, premium horticulture products, natural cosmetics and personal care, fashion, textiles and home decor, tech-enabled services, creative industries, export. Now, call to action. Finance meets purpose. To the SMEs, be bold and ensure you are document ready and maintain rigorous global compliance standards. Your preparation determines your success. To financial institutions, de-risk intelligently, innovate courageously, and partner strategically for mutual growth. SMEs represents Ghana's economic future. And I also wanted to look beyond, you should look beyond the vault, where you call on people to bring their grandparents' death certificate before loans are issued. It's important we do something about it if we want our SMEs to grow. For policymakers, empower SMEs through stable, predictable policies and meaningful incentives that recognizes the vital economic contributions. For government, again, institutionalize after-aligned SME financing instruments. For DFIs and banks, again, develop SME-friendly export and supply chain finance products. For the SMEs, again, strengthen governance, traceability, and digital documentation to become finance-ready and after-compliant. For development partners, support capacity building and blended finance vehicles targeting agribusiness and manufacturing SMEs. And I say when finance meets purpose, trade becomes transformation. For phage, we pledge to lead the charge towards the 5 billion export economy, building the bridges between Ghanaian enterprises and global opportunities. Together, we will transform potential into prosperity. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Indeed, when finance meets purpose, trade becomes transformation. Up next, we have a presentation by Dr. Eugene Ofori Apia, Senior Manager, Business Banking, Ghana International Bank. Shall we welcome him with a round of applause?
Thank you very much, Joanne, and good morning to everyone. So just to take off from where Davis left off, GHIB is here to speak to you about some offering we have and our attempt to help close the trade finance gap we have in Africa. Okay, so I have a couple of slides to go through with you just to start by giving you context to what the trade finance problem is in the world. So globally, as per what we have been made to understand by UNCTAD, global trade for last year was in excess of $33 trillion. And as at half year this year, it was projected that trade was going to increase by 300 billion. That should tell you the value of trade in the world as we know it. Now, the beautiful thing here is that developing countries are part of those driving up these volumes in trade. So that gives us a good sense of purpose for us here at GHIB, because Ghana is a developing country and we should be part of those driving the volumes for trade finance increase. Now, when you look at trade in Africa, and as after it's also doing to, as it were, cement trade finance and trade, inter-African trade, Afrexim Bank estimates that there is about 100 billion trade finance gap. And of that trade finance gap, 80 to 90% of the firms that suffer this lack of trade finance are SMEs. Now, after leading the way and having most of the countries ratifying and signing to the agreement, the opportunity to have this gap widen is becoming clear, and this is where GHIB wants to step in to be able to help close that gap. What is also interesting for us to know, of all the exports that are made, you realize that developing countries, including Africa, which is part of developing countries, tend to export more of raw commodities than processed commodities. We have the East Asians leading with a lot of manufactured goods. Now, when you look at West Africa, Afrexim also mentions that, makes us to know that there is a trade potential, unrealized trade potential of about 7.2 billion for Africa alone, for West Africa alone, which is significant. And it could even be more, because the potential that they seek to mention, that we have about 13 billion potential trade finance gap that we need to be able to help close here in Africa. Now, the opportunity to also shift from raw materials is important for us if we are supposed to contribute more to trade finance globally. Now, if you look at the report that was shared by Ghana Statistical Service, you realize that most of Ghana's exports, in terms of non-traditional exports, is very, 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 very low. You realize that most of the exports we do in Ghana is dominated by gold, mineral fuels, and cocoa products, which takes about 83% of total exports out of Ghana. So it means those exporting yams, those exporting cassava, pineapples, and the rest feature very little in terms of the total export that Ghana is making, which is a big concern that GHIB want to step up and help those doing those other non-traditional exports to be able to level up in this space. Now, but the beautiful thing here for us in Ghana is that, well, we have some surplus. We are net exporters, which is a good thing. And that GHIB want to encourage and help Ghanaians export more than we import into the country. In terms of our destinations, South Africa and UAE is normally top where we export to most. Now, these gaps that are being introduced, that UNCTAD, that Afrexim talk about, are as a result of some problems that these trade companies or businesses, SMEs face. And now most of them, it has to do with cash flow mismatch. You are an exporter, you would have to go to the farm gate to go and buy your cashew. You have to put in a lot of finance to get what it is you have to export. And the moment the farmer at the farm gate will not wait for you to say, come and pay me after 2 weeks, come and pay me after 3 weeks. You want to take his money there and then. But when you have exported, you don't get your money immediately. You would have to wait for some 1 month, some 2 months before you get your payment. So that creates that mismatch. And obviously will lead to the gap that we are speaking about, that trade finance gap. Now, there's also collateral constraints. For most of the borrowings that we do, most of the lending that banks in Ghana do, it's collateral heavy. Sometimes we have to go up to 120% of the collateral value of the funding you want from the bank, which also creates a big problem. So you have most SMEs wanting to have financing, but unfortunately they are not able to level up in terms of collateral. And that creates a problem for them to be able to access financing, leading to the gap that we are also talking about. Then cross-border counterparties. That's also a big problem. You sit here in Ghana, exporting into China, Dubai, UAE, and you are unsure who it is you are sending the goods to, whether they will pay or they will not pay. And there have been stories of people being swindled by their counterparties, just on account of they not paying for the goods they have received. Some even come up with a lot of excuses. The water content of what you exported was too much, and so I have to pay you less than the value of the invoice you have agreed and the rest. There are also FX problems. Post-COVID, a lot of people have had their businesses suffer hugely because of FX movement, which are also reasons why we have that big trade finance gap here in Africa. Now, what this leads to are missed orders, because the time you have to pay upfront and wait for some months to be able to get your payment. So if your cycle is, let's say, once in a year, maybe the kind of product you do, and you can't be able to do two times of it in the year because of that gap. Your cash cycle actually, when you make a payment, lets you out of your business, and when you receive money. You also have reduced orders because you can't be able to do much. Your capital is locked in transit, waiting for your importer to be able to pay you, sometimes after 30 days, after 45 days, 90 days, 180 days. So imagine if you are being paid after 180 days. It means you can only do one trade in a year, which is a big problem. And it also leads to higher, some waste, actually, because there will be times you'll be redundant, not because you don't want to do business, but there is no money to be able to do the business. Now, so this is where GHIB want to be able to come in and see how best you can help to be able to close that trade finance gap. And somebody will want to find out why GHIB. GHIB because we are a regulated bank out of Africa in the UK, and so you can understand how rigorous our regulatory regime will be in the UK. We are a European-friendly bank that will be there to serve all other purposes that most of the European banks may not be able to do for you. We also have a lot of expertise with corresponding banking network, a lot of them in Africa and out of Africa, that will help you be able to do your trade the way you want to do it. Now we have transaction footprint in more than 17 African countries. So you would have to sit pretty in Ghana and let us do the business for you wherever it is you want to export to in Africa and outside of the world. Now we have a strong FI base. At the last check with our corporate guys, most of the banks in Ghana are clients. I think about 19 of them or so. So that should tell you how strong we are in terms of FI financing and FI business. And so if your chances are that your bank is our customer, and we can be able to do business together to help you grow your business. We have a track record in trade payments and FX dealings, which most of what is interesting is that most of the transactions you do, you are not aware it terminates through GHIB. All you know is that you are dealing with a GCB, an ADB, or any of those banks. But most of the transactions terminate through GHIB. And so we are here to be able to offer some of these products to you directly and help you to be able to level up your business. Now, our solution to closing this SME gap is what we call export receivables discounting facility. So mostly, like I said, if you have exported and your buyer is going to take 90 days, 180 days to pay you, you have to sit and wait. So what we want to do at GHIB is to be able to let you have your money that you should receive in 90 days, 180 days, almost immediately after you have done the export. So you can be able to go back to the farm gate or go back to whatever it is you are doing without having to wait. The good thing about that is that it helps release liquidity to you. Money would have waited for 90 days to receive becomes available to you almost immediately. And we also take the risk of non-payment of your importer from you. Somebody sitting off Dubai, Vietnam, and the rest. And you see, the trick with most of these things is that the fact you've been dealing with a particular importer for a very long time does not mean they cannot swindle you or you cannot lose your goods you are exporting to them. So it's important to be able to deal with banks like GHIB that have that counterparty experience to be able to do a lot more due diligence on who you are exporting to and be happy to take that risk so you can sit pretty and know that GHIB has taken over that risk of non-payment from your importer. Now, we are doing this in partnership with our colleague banks in Ghana, just so we are able to foster that relationship we have with the FIs. They are here and they have boots on the ground, and they're able to support most of the businesses, especially at the pre-shipment level. They help them go to the farm gate to buy. They are able to go to the hinterlands and help them check the warehouses they have and the rest. When they have done that, we come in to be able to help you have the money that it would have taken you a couple of months to have immediately, so you can be able to go back to your business. It helps everybody. It helps the business, the SME, to be able to have quick liquidity. It also helps the local bank to also be able to have the balance of the liquidity back to the customer's account here in Ghana into your bank. So it's a win-win situation for the exporter, for the bank, and for GHIB. Everybody becomes happy in the chain. And you must not necessarily must be financed by a local bank. If you have your own equity or by whatever means you have been able to do your export, we are happy as GHIB to look to discount or those receivables for you, so you can have immediate liquidity to go back to your business. Now, the product, like I said, is designed for all exporters, whether traditional and non-traditional exporters. We are not leaving anybody out. But my personal interest is for most of the non-traditional exporters. They normally have the most need for finance, and we are opening our doors to be able to help you. If you don't have a partner bank you are working with, we can help you have a relationship with a good partner bank, and we do the business together. Okay. The product is going to be available in Ghana and everywhere GHIB has a footprint. We have footprints in 17 African countries. Like you said, we do business across these places. So wherever it is you think you are trading from, insofar as there is an African nexus, GHIB is happy to look at your business and see what it is we can do to be able to help you. Now, just to give you a quick summary of the products GHIB is using to help close this trade finance gap. So we call it the SME-RDF discounting facility. And we want to be able to extend up to $5 million to a single SME. That's a lot of money. So we give you this trade line for you to be able to discount as many receivables as you have. It can be more based on discussion and your need, if you're able to show cost that you need more than 5 million. So it's up to 5 million. So if your need is 200,000, you are welcome. If your need is 1 million, you are welcome. If your need is beyond 5 million, let's have a discussion. We can be able to have a discussion and structure something out of this for you. Like I said, you are going to give a discount of up to 80% of the invoice value. So if yours is also a purchases invoice, whatever invoice you have, whether sales invoice or purchase invoice, let's have a look at it. We are happy to discount up to 80% of it for you. Maybe a little less when it has to do with purchasing invoice, because there's going to be a markup of your profits on those purchases as well. But we are open to look at any invoice, whether sales or purchases invoice. We can do a tenor of up to 180 days, 6 months. So you can discount and you have 6 months within which to pay GHIB back, which gives you some flexibility to be able to do your business. Now, we price, it's not a flat rate price for everybody. It's based on, one, the risk of your business and how you are ready to be able to do the business you are doing. So no two SMEs are going to have the same pricing. Some will have lower prices than others based on the risk profile of those particular SMEs involved. We are able to do software plus a risk-based margin. If you are not used to the software environment, we are able to give you a fixed rate for that also meets your need, if that is what you are comfortable with. In terms of documentation set, regular documentation for borrowing, board resolutions, if it's applicable to you, because we want to be sure those who are signing off for the borrowing are those that the company has authorized to be able to make those decisions on their behalf. You have to have a copy of the commercial document, shipping documents. That is the basis. That is the evidence we have that you are actually shipping out of Ghana or shipping out of Africa, against which some receivables will be able to come in. The security is basically an assignment of receivables. We are not taking any landed property as collateral. This is a structured trade finance. So we want the receivables or the trade itself to be able to clean out on itself without having to say, do evaluation of a landed property and the rest. We don't take that for our borrowing. It's purely structured. And so we must find a comfortable structure to be able to lend or discount your receivables for you. We obviously will have a charge over the collection account because that's the only security we have. The proceeds that are coming in, we need to monitor and control that flow from which we take our money and make the balance available to you when you have received that. If you are doing it with a partner bank, then we have 4-party transaction. If you are coming on your own to GHIB, then it's a tripartite arrangement. Any of them is fine with it. So let's have a discussion after this and we can take it up from there. Okay, so in terms of eligibility to sign on to the program, it's once you have an African nexus, that is what is important to us because we are a Pan-African trade bank. And so we always want to see some African footprint in your transaction. And that's all we seek. We seek in that criteria. Obviously, KYC and money laundering checks would have to be made to make sure we are not dealing with a fraudulent entity, an entity that is flouting all laws, local and international laws. We want to avoid dealing with such customers. ESG is a problem for most of the SMEs. So what we do is to help you come up on your ESG profiling. So if you don't have any ESG report, don't worry. We'll be able to help you come up with a good report and get you to understand what ESG is to help support your business. Like I said, we will be able to lend to you only in hard currency. We can do USD, we can do GBP, and we can do Euro. Unfortunately, we can't do CD because our balance sheet is not in CDs. That's how come the local banks will be there to be able to help you. That's fine. The documentation I've spoken about it, so I don't need to repeat that. Now, if you can skip this slide, I've spoken about the counterparty risk. Somebody sitting off Dubai and you're doing business with him. It's risky. We've been dealing with them for the longest time, and we have tools and softwares and data that helps us be able to check the authenticity of those people that you can't be able to tell. So it helps. Now, if you look at it's a very simple flow that everybody should be able to appreciate what process you go through to be able to access that financing from us. So we would have to first onboard you. By onboarding you, check your KYC status to make sure you are compliant with all the AML laws and everything. We know you properly. Then we set a limit for you against which you'll be able to do your discounting. Then the obvious thing we will look at is whether you have a contract to supply the kind of exports you are into, which is important to us because we must be able to know that and know what it is you are there to supply. Look at the shipping documents, the bill of lading, any other finance documents you have. Be able to check and verify that they are authentic, which we have the means to be able to tell. And just draw out an assignment of receivables agreement for you to be able to execute. And GHIB will advance the money to you almost immediately after you have executed the assignment of receivables document. And the rest, they say, is history. You have your money, go back to your business and do your business. Okay, so by way of summary, just to recap what it is I have said, that there is a big trade finance, the trade finance industry is a big one. 2024, over 33 trillion, as reported by UNCTAD. This year, half year, is projected to do more, 300 billion in excess of what was done last year, which is a significant area businessmen should be able to go in and invest in. Now, this clearly creates some gap that will need to be filled because you will need money to be able to do the trade that you want to do. After rollout also creates more opportunities as after seeks to deepen intra-African trade. You need support, you need financing to be able to do that. If we discount for you, you're able to have your money, go back to your business and export more. With discounting of your receivables, you'll be able to do 2 or 3 times one thing, which if you didn't have the discounting would have been maybe 1 or twice in a year. But with the discounting, you can do as many times, which with the after, you should be able to do more. And based on after COVID, FX has been a big issue. So if you do discounting with us, we solve largely the FX problems you will have. If you would have to wait for 90 days to receive your payment, you can't tell what the CD will look like by the time your receivables come in. So if you have a discounting facility, that gets you to have the money almost immediately. Then you have a tap on the FX movement to be able to decide with, which is also a good offering that GHIB gives you. So largely, we are open for business. That's by way of my summary. You can talk to us after the program. Let's have a lot more discussion. No two businesses are the same. Let's know what your needs are, and GHIB will be willing and ready to support you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. GHIB is open for business. We'll have one more presentation before we move into our panel discussion. And I would like to invite Senior Manager for GHIB Consumer and High Net Worth Banking, Mr. Nana Oriedu Jamra. He will be talking about GHIB's retail banking proposition. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Good morning to us all here. Even though today is a trade event and we are talking about SME banking, we know that most of our clients or some the SME decision makers who are here have international banking needs, and we need to be able to provide solutions in your personal needs for you. So I'll just run through a quick overview of what we have as a retail bank. So GHIB has a retail bank that is able to provide your international banking needs for you. So, I think the presentation. So basically, what we provide been around for about 65 years. So Kwame Nkrumah basically opened or asked Ghana Commercial Bank to open a bank in the UK to help the African trade. And 65 years down the line, we're here and we are able to provide you with either trade or personal banking solutions. So I basically look after the retail banking, which is your personal banking solutions. We basically provide you with a relationship managed service. So you have a relationship manager in London who would be able to provide you with day-to-day banking solutions. So if you open an account, whether you're here or anywhere in the world, we'll be able to provide you with those solutions. What we do is we provide accounts in dollars, pounds, or euros. So whichever currency you're looking to bank in, we'll be able to provide you with either a pound sterling account, euro account, or a dollar account. And as we know, with the Forex accounts that we have in Ghana, we earn 0% on all the Forex in Ghana. If you were to open an account with GHIB, you would earn interest on your Forex. So be it your pound, your dollar, or your euro, you'd get some interest on it. So for those of us here who travel the world, who have children abroad, who have financial transactions abroad, GHIB account would definitely be a very good account for you to open, such that when you're traveling the world, be it the Eurozone, the pound zone, or the dollar zone, you have an international account that will be able to provide you with the services you need. So that's in summary what our GHIB retail banking offers you. I'll be at the back, so if you have any questions, you can always come to me. I think I also provided the QR code for you to scan. If you scan those codes and you request for us to make contact with you, we'll be able to contact you and get an account open for you in GHIB London. The good thing as well is for most of the international banks that you probably may know here, you'd probably have to call customer service in the UK or wherever to contact your relationship manager. But in Ghana, we have a branch in here where you can see a relationship manager or get your service solved for you without having to go on long international calls. So we are here, and we want to bank you and make sure your international banking needs are solved as easily as possible. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ghana International Bank is solving all your international banking needs. Next, we have our panel discussion, and this discussion is going to be on unlocking capital for Ghanaian export growth. The objective is to explore the opportunities, challenges, and innovations in financing Ghanaian SMEs for export growth, both globally and within Africa. I'll be introducing our panelists now. Joining us will be Dr. Eugene Ofori-Appiah from Ghana International Bank. Dr. Eugene Danko Ofori-Appiah is the Senior Manager of Business Banking at Ghana International Bank, where he previously served as Senior Credit Analyst for financial institutions. Before joining GIB, Eugene spent over a decade at GCB Bank PLC in various roles, including Head of Project Financing, Corporate Manager for the Northern Cluster, and Senior Relationship Manager. In addition to his banking career, Eugene is a licensed lawyer in Ghana. He also lectures part-time at the University of Cape Coast and Kumasi Technical University. Shall we give him a round of applause? Also joining us is Judith Akins, Assistant General Manager, SME at the Ghana Exim Bank. Judith is a well-seasoned banker with 19 years experience spanning across trade finance, development financing, retail, corporate, private and transactional banking with 4 banks, namely Cal Bank, Bank of Africa, Fidelity Bank, and Exim Bank. She is currently the Assistant General Manager, SME Banking at Ghana Exim Bank, and is also a project management consultant and currently pursuing a doctorate degree in global business and leadership from California University, USA. Shall we give her a round of applause again? Also joining us is Mr. Samson Asaki, Executive Secretary, Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. He is a seasoned professional with over a decade of executive leadership experience in trade and the maritime sector. He currently serves as the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, an organization he founded to advocate for the interests of traders and the business community within the Tema Port and beyond. He holds a Master of Arts in Ports and Shipping Administration from Regional Maritime University and a bachelor's degree in business administration from the Methodist University of Ghana. His expertise spans maritime advocacy, port operations, policy engagement, and stakeholder relations. Shall we give him another round of applause? Finally, joining us is Mr. Chonam Akpelu, Greater Accra Regional Chair, Association of Ghana Industries. Chonam is a Ghanaian technology entrepreneur, industrialist, and economist. He is the CEO of Suku Technologies, a multi-award-winning technology solutions company with clients in over 6 countries. He also serves as chairman for the Greater Accra region of the Association of Ghana Industries and president of the University Community Partnership for Social Action Research Network Africa. He was elected chairman of the Trade and Industry Cluster at the second ordinary session of the 4th Permanent General Assembly of the African Union's Economic, Social, and Cultural Council. Shall we welcome him with a round of applause? Thank you all so much for agreeing to be on this panel. The presentations that have happened so far are very enlightening. They've covered the challenges, they've covered the opportunities that exist, and we've also seen some innovative financial solutions from GHIB. So this discussion really should focus on what next, what the gaps are. One of the things that was highlighted is SMEs being ready to take on export finance. Over the years, we've had a lot of intentional training that banks have done, that government has done, to build the capacity of SMEs to be able to first have quality products that could be exported, products that meet international standards, and also have companies to have the wherewithal to access international financing. What I want to ask everybody to set the ball rolling is, why hasn't it worked, and what can be done to make SMEs really ready? Doc, should I start with you?
That's fine. A couple of reasons account for SME readiness to be able to take on trade finance assignments. Trade finance itself is a specialized area, it's a specialized field. And dealing with most of the SMEs, all they know is they have somebody abroad that wants to buy their product, but what kind of trade instrument, trade tool that they need to be able to secure their transaction, most of the SMEs don't know. So it starts with, one, educating the SMEs for them to be able to know exactly what kind of trade products that they will need to be able to help them do a particular trade they want to do, that will protect themselves and also protect whoever it is that they are exporting to. That is one. So education for our SMEs is very, very, very key. Two, most of the SMEs also don't prepare themselves for financing from most of the banks. Most of them think, and as it normally comes out, having a good idea and a willingness to be able to export is not enough to be able to access financing from a bank. You must, as it were, be deliberate about how you organize your books. You must be deliberate about how you organize your business. You must keep proper accounts. You must be consistent with the business you are doing. Because point is, you are inviting somebody to come and put money or investment in your business. The person does not know your business as much as you do. So you would have to do some convincing to get the person to become happy to say, I want to put my money in your business, which most of the SMEs normally are not ready. And we need a lot of hand-holding, guidance to be able to level up, to become attractive to banks, to help support them in financing.
Thank you very much for your response. Judith, would you want to?
Thank you. Just to add on to what Doctor said, a lot more has to do with financial literacy in the trade finance space. A lot of these SMEs are actually not sensitized enough. For example, an SME works to a bank, and all he or she knows is that I want to trade with someone in the UK, for example. But then trading in the UK comes with a lot of instruments, comes with a lot of products that you'd want to deal with, depending on the kind of product you want to export. And so they are not too savvy, for example, in terms of, let's say, a letter of credit, for example, open account, what does it mean? So these things are usually, or these instruments are usually not known to these SMEs. They might want to, employ their lawyers to come in and speak on their behalf and all that. And so it starts from there. If you understand what you want to trade in, the products you want to get into, then, you would get there. So that's one of the things. The second thing is obviously on documentation. Just so I expatiate on this point again. Documentations. Mr. Kobo said it rightly. SMEs should be document ready. Most of the time, these SMEs are not ready. You know, it's only about local production, which we're always focused on. Let me do it locally. Let me do it in my Ghanaian space. Now, when you have a contract and you have to export or go beyond the seas, then you start running. Oh, I don't even have a foreign account. I don't have, let's say, an offshore account, for example. I don't have, you know, the necessary documents to trade even on the West African sub-region. So it starts from there. Let's be ready, because obviously you would expand. You would go, you know, further. And so I think these are the two major challenges that, from where I sit, we see that it's a challenge, or why we have not been able to close that gap. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So from the perspective of AGI and the Importers and Exporters Association, why is this still a challenge? What hinders an SME from being documentation ready? And what are we doing to resolve those challenges?
Thank you very much, and good morning to senior colleagues that I've seen here, David Kobo and his Executive Secretary, my senior comrade here from AGI. I think today is a full-packed day. In Accra is occupied by major programs. I'm sure you're aware of the member of Gomoa Central Kwame A+ program, the pack that he's trying to develop for business-related, as we are discussing here, is commissioning today, launching today at Kempinski. Ghana Ministry of Transport Logistics Conference is also ongoing. Guess a opposite here, World Trade Center, and then we are here. So we are the same people they are looking for all over these conferences. But this is a very key one. We needed to be here because when you look at Ghana perspective, the SMEs are really suffering, and that is the only area that if we can maximize, we will be able to see so much forest coming back into our country. The negative effect that I do see here is that, or the challenges I do see here is that SMEs are not, either they are not really available for mentorship, like David from FAGE, who's the president of FAGE, Federation of Ghanaian Exporters, and others, who have gone through the mill and understand the nitty-gritty, the things that outside world are looking for, especially if you want to embark on export or looking for financing. They have gone through the mill, so they know exactly if you go to Bank A or Bank B or this financial institution, these are the criteria that they need. So we as a country, and indeed, I think myself and David, we are in the President Associated Export Development Committee, which the President is the chair to that committee, and we are fortunate to be part of that committee. I think AGI President is also in that committee. The objective is to how we deliberately help these SMEs to properly put their books in place, to properly prepare themselves. So when opportunities like this, just like the gentleman made a presentation here of the Commercial Bank in London, finance opportunities that are available, so that we will know what are the things that you have to put in place so that when you work within local or international level, you will be able to access, you have the opportunity to have that fund that will help you to maximize and to prepare your product and to export and to meet the international level requirements. So I think all of us seated in this room, I must say that we are enlightened. The SMEs need all of us, our voices. We need to go out there, look for them, mentor them, let them understand the things that they need to do. And of course, the other aspect is Ghana here, since I've been in this industry, what I see is that we have too many institutions doing the same thing, scattered around. And anytime an SME comes up from the university, maybe it's 2, 3, 4 students come together, they want to set up a businesses, and you have to go around registering. We probably will also need something like the paperless system, where if you put in the product, say, this is what I want to embark on trade, then this documentation can be gotten online. So that because if you go to any of these financial institutions to look for finance to expand your businesses or to do your businesses, definitely they need certain criteria. They want to make sure that who are you and where do you belong to? Okay. So I think we have to do a deliberate attempt to go out and educate our SMEs. Above all, I come back to the financial institutions themselves. Their in-house checks and balances or documentation that is needed. Indeed, if you really want to expand and maximize export, the SMEs is very key. It's pivotal to our businesses. But the kind of collateral, even though I've seen that it is our number 2 that we have to discuss, the guarantee levels the asset levels. SME doesn't have a movable asset or landing asset. It's just beginning life. And so if such a person is beginning life and you want to have trade financing and these institutions are looking for certain caliber of security collateral, then indeed, of course, I think that is the reason why they are shying away from going to our banks or to our trade financial institutions to look for finance to support or to expand their business. These are some of the major challenges that I think I can, offhand, I can identify.
Thank you so much. Please, go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, and allow me to commend the organizers for organizing this, and also to start by saying that the initiative by the Ghana International Bank is well commendable, and it's something that we've been advocating for in AGI for several years. We thank God that it's finally happening in such a big way. So I'd like to mention that it appears that there's a misunderstanding of the type of SMEs we have in our part of the world, vis-a-vis the solutions that are being professed to solving the SME problems. The nature of SMEs we have are so much so that most of them are very informal, unstructured, but can be making money and profit. So that the kind of design that we see from the international banks in allowing us to access financing, it almost mismatch with the SME requirement in our part of the world. So you're asking for all of these documentations. I can guarantee you, 80% of the SMEs that we have in AGI don't have those documentations. It doesn't mean they are not qualified to access these facilities. What it means is that the person designing this financing arrangement is not spending time to understand the requirements of these SMEs. So our first request is that our institutions should spend a lot more time to understand the requirements of what our SMEs want, but also what they are able to comply with. So I'll give you a classic example. So there's Fafape there. She's one of the biggest. Please stand up so that they can clap for you. She's, let's say, one of our biggest members. She's a producer of mushroom, probably the largest in the country. Yes, mushrooms. Probably one of the largest in the country. All her focus has been to expand her business, produce more, sell more. Typically, because of the constraint we have in our SME space, we do not necessarily provide financing for securing lawyers and accountants and doing all of these fine papers. We try. But I'm saying that it's really not a priority. So that if you're going to use all of this documentation as a yardstick of determining whether you should support such a business, you may miss the point. So we really, really have to take steps to ensure that we understand how our SMEs work. The second thing is that the concept of SME in Ghana or Africa is entirely different from an SME in a developed society. Most of our large companies are actually SMEs in the West. And so these solutions that are being designed will typically have SMEs in the West in mind. But those are large businesses. Because for us, our SMEs are actually that small. And most of them, banking concept is so new to them. Okay, so they are really making a lot of money, but they are probably just carrying cash to go and pay a supplier. So that record of transaction from money moving from one bank to the other, they don't have it. So they will really appear that small. But the point is that she's probably an illiterate who really believes that she just needs to move and pay the cash and move on. It's a very cashy economy. So what are you doing to understand that we need to design a solution for this particular entrepreneur who is cash heavy? You see. So, my friend from the bank, please expand the space and allow yourself to incorporate all of these types of SMEs we have. So that way, it will be easier to identify our real challenge and solve it. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
Also design product tailored towards our language. Because the SME, as rightly as I said, the person is doing very well. He is not a degree person, he's not a suit wearing person. He knows that I'm doing business. So the language barrier is also key. If you design good, you may have good products sitting in your banks, but what language would you communicate to get to descend down there to the person? How many times do we do this in the regional capital, in the district capital? Because mind you, we are not just growing SMEs in Accra here. They are all over the world. They are all, the countries. So somebody found themselves in district in his mother tongue that he understands. So maybe we need to expand this conversation to the regional levels, to the district levels. Let them understand, and of course, the opportunities available as well. That's what we have to look at. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That leads me to my next question. I was going to ask Dr. Eugene the role of commercial banks like Ghana International Bank in developing innovative solutions that will de-risk export finance for SMEs. You've talked about your export receivables discount facility. What else are you doing beyond that? How are you reaching SMEs? How are you closing that last gap?
Okay. It's important for us to put the discussion we are having in its proper context. The spectrum for SME is very big and very wide. From the tabletop, that is micro, to the small SMEs, to the medium, and the ones you describe as SMEs if they were in foreign countries. So we don't have to lump all of them and put all of them into one basket, or else it will not be fair to those who are also ready and have had their documentation properly aligned. The SMEs would have to, one, help themselves in making them attractive to be able to secure funding. If you want a scholarship from an institution, you would have to work yourself and prepare yourself per the dictates of that scholarship secretariat to be able to secure the scholarship. It's usually not so much the duty of the secretariat to come and show you how you must be ready for sponsorship under the secretariat. That is how come it's important for the SMEs to put themselves into groups like FAGE, like the various associations, that will help all the SMEs be able to level up. Well, don't forget, the banks are not giving credit or extending credit to the SMEs on an individual basis. There is a policy that the bank has approved, and based on policy, lets out its credit. So the SMEs would have to prepare themselves through the associations if they don't have what it takes to be able to level up. You see, most of the problems the SMEs have is thinking that having a good business is enough to have funding. There are structures in place that the banks have put together that you must be able to meet, which you must prepare yourself to be able to take advantage of, or else year in, year out, we keep talking about the banks not supporting the SMEs, but it cannot be done on any haphazard way. It must be structured. Now, to come to the point of what banks are doing, like for instance, GHIB is doing to be able to support SMEs. Obviously, we are not sitting in Ghana, and so may not be able to do what the local banks will be able to do. Like my boss said, we are only 20 in Ghana. If you are doing a project in, let's say, Techiman, another one in Wa, it will be sometimes difficult for us to have boots on the ground to be able to do and support the SMEs the way they want to be supported. The reason we want to partner with the local banks that are larger in size and have a bigger presence in Ghana than we can. If for whatever reason you want funding that your local bank is not able to give you, you can get us to talk to your local bank and we co-finance or share the risk and support that SME. But it still boils down to the fact that the SME must be ready and follow what the process is. Because you see, it's a step. It's a step by step. You can't say, I, for the sake of discussion, I export mushrooms, and there are good buyers of mushrooms in the UK, and so give me money and let me export more mushrooms. If it were you and your friend came to you with just this simple description, you wouldn't give your money out. You want to be sure what your friend is doing. Does he have somebody who understands how mushrooms are grown? Is he recording his cost? I don't know if you get the point. So you will be sure that when I give my money out to this person, the probability of the person paying back is high. Having a good business is not enough. You have to be ready and follow processes laid down by them. Don't forget the processes the banks follow are not all the banks. Some are also coming from the regulator. So the regulator has said, this is how you are supposed to conduct yourself in a particular environment. We can't surpass the regulator and do what we want. We can only, as much as we can, maybe become flexible around the regulator's rule to be able to support. But largely, the heavy lifting would have to be done by the businessman to become ready, join an association, follow the path of the big boys in the association, what they did to get there, learn from them, and become ready for support. Otherwise, we will be going around in circles every day talking about the same thing because most of our SMEs are not ready for finance.
Thank you very much. Before I go to the audience for questions and comments, I'd like to ask Madam Judith, what innovative solutions is Exim Bank presenting to our SMEs?
Thank you. So for Ghana Exim Bank, the SMEs, they play a very pivotal role to us. They are very dear to us. Some of them are seated here. I would say that we have been very strategic about, growing the businesses of SMEs. I'll start with locally. Locally, we actually have forums and seminars with them. We've actually put up a hub. If you come to Ghana Exim Bank, there's a mini shop, a mini hub that we have on our ground floor, specifically showcasing made in Ghana products. Because these SMEs basically complain that people don't actually know what they do. So you have a typical SME like the mushroom lady seated there, who does very fantastic mushroom. I've seen it, I've tasted it, but then not many of us here would know her product if she's to mention the name of the product. And you would ask her, where am I going to get these products? They are not in shops, in your typical shops like ShopRite, Melcom, and all that. So we said, okay, let's put all these products together and then put them in a shop where if you want the mushroom, you can walk into the shop and then have, some of it. And then we also said that, okay, let's make them export ready. Most of them obviously want to go beyond, the shores of Ghana or Africa and go globally. But then, just like Doctor said, you'd have to meet international standards. These are standards that globally in trade finance you ought to meet. I mean, it is not a question of, I'm not, financially literate, so I can't do this, I don't speak English. You are meeting global standards, and so you need to be ready. So we make them ready. We just don't leave them like that. We hold their hands and prepare them through the process of trade finance and international trade. So that's one of the things that we do. And so intentionally from 2020, we've also put together products that could help them, meet the needs of their suppliers. Some of these products are very short-tenured. We have long-tenured products, and then we have medium-tenured products. Some of them could assist them in terms of pre-shipment and post-shipment. And then we work very well with commercial banks seated here. We have some of their clients who are not able to meet their collateral and security arrangements. And so they fall on us as Exim and say to us that, you know what, I'd want to borrow from, let's say, GCB, but then GCB is asking for too much. Can you give me a guarantee? So we go beyond that to give guarantees to these clients, but then the banks actually do the requirement on their behalf. And then we give you the guarantee, you take it to your bank or commercial bank, and then you seek for your funding. And we also do that for, beyond the shores as well. We give guarantees to, exporters who would want to meet raw material supplies, out there and all that. So these are very innovative things that we've done for our SMEs, and it's going very well, and I must say thank you.
Awesome, thank you very much. I'll now open up for questions and comments from the audience. Sir. Is there another microphone? Awesome. Kindly introduce yourself and proceed with your comment or question.
Thank you very much. My name is Andy Akoto, Country Managing Partner, KPMG. And I'm here because it's very important that as a very renowned accounting and business consulting firm, we demystify our services in the context of the conversation that we are having. Because we are talking about SMEs. And typically when you mention an SME and you mention KPMG, it's like they don't go together. Like my good friend is saying, SMEs don't wear suits, okay? But the fact that I'm in suit does not mean that some of us are not ready to work with SMEs to deal with some of the challenges that we are talking about. Because sitting here and listening to the various presentations, I'm very much aligned with my good friend who said from AGI that the SMEs that typically we discuss in the context of some of these solutions and products are a bit different from our own SMEs, okay, in Ghana here. Because our SMEs typically, like my madam who deals in mushroom, her focus is on the core business, the back office of putting together the invoices, doing accounts, filing tax returns, even putting together some documentation. It's not her core. And I'm just trying to say, I'm not here to sell myself, but I'm saying that KPMG, we have an SME desk that can take care of these headaches. Because the fact remains that if you are going to be able to scale and grow your business internationally, you cannot ignore the documentation side of your business. And so I'm talking about things like even running your monthly payroll, putting together your management accounts, of course, your statutory accounts and so on. We have a desk at KPMG that can support with this. Because without that, talking about things like KYC screening, ESG screening, these SMEs don't have the capacity to do that. And to hire a qualified accountant or administrator is just a headache, probably a big cost on the P&L. So I'm just saying that besides joining associations, there are also these options in the system. In fact, if you look at the AGI newsletter or the bulletin that was issued for this month, you see KPMG's logo right behind it because we have partnered with AGI to try and extend our services to support SMEs in this endeavor so that they can take advantage of some of these solutions and, of course, deal with some of these challenges. Because some of the things that I'm hearing, I know is beyond reach. Asking for board resolution. How many SMEs have boards? Okay, so let's be realistic, let's be practical about some of these things. But all I'm saying is that there are other solutions working with firms like ours, demystify the issue about coat wearing and everything. We have an SME desk that can deal with a lot of backroom stuff and documentation to support SMEs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is certainly a helpful contribution to make. There's a hand in the middle, lady in green.
Hello, good morning. My name is Jacqueline Rubisakite, the CEO of Jackie's, an agro-processing company. I'm here as a representative of OWIT, Ghana. Listening to what Mr. Akpelo said and what the representative from GHIB response was, as an SME, I felt a bit down. It's as if you are not really listening to us, SMEs. And I also like to plead that next time, let's try and have an SME as part of the panelists. we have to be able to support SMEs by hand-holding them through. You open an account, they give you an RM who never visits your company, never comes to call on you to check on your books. But when you go there that you want loan support to get equipment or something, they tell you you don't qualify, looking at your books. How do I get my books straight? If you cannot support me, taking me through my stuff, having a general capacity building, I don't think it's enough. We need that hand-holding. You, take in charge of this company. Visit them. Look at their books. Where are they going wrong? Correct them and help them to be able to be export-ready and loan-ready. So for me, I think that SMEs still we need grants. Because you are not ready to listen to what we are telling you. We might not have the papers to support, but we are making business. And so support us to get the books ready. It's not just about discussion and panel discussion. Support comes with direct help, direct support. That is how we can. Sorry if I'm very emotional, but it's sometimes depressing. You walk to your bank, you want something. To buy a machine, equipment. I was told that if you were going to trade with this, we would have given it to you. But I needed it because there is somebody willing to support and distribute this product within the European Union, European market. And so I need that equipment. Just for you to be told this. Yet you have never visited my premises to see how are your books like? How do we help you? So if you really want to support SMEs, kindly listen to us. That is the way we can move forward. My second question is, what is the advantages dealing directly as an SME with GH1B? What are the advantages dealing directly with you? And also with the retail banking, is it current account or savings account? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. I'll let the panel respond to the first two that we've heard so far, and then we would go back to the audience for more questions. Would you want to respond to the GHIB question, the second one?
That's fine. Madam, you were not emotional, you were being factual. But the truth also is that there is so much the bank can do, but not everything. And so that's how come we have other institutions and specialized institutions that have the mandate to be able to support what the bank cannot readily be able to do. So the partner from KPMG mentioned how they are ready to help SMEs to be able to level up. Some of the documentation said it's not about doing a good business. You must have them, and there is no discussion about them. So you would have to be helped by the likes of KPMG. Exim also mentioned taking you through a lot of clinics and helping you to level up. If you want to export, if you want to become export ready, there are certain documentation sets and certain check boxes you must of essence check them. Otherwise, you will for the long time be doing family and friend businesses. Send it to me. I have a few people in the UK that I can sell them to. So if you really want to scale up, if you really want to have the kind of support that will turn the corner for you so that in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, you become that big SME that will become the shining story of Ghana and Africa, you need guidance from support institutions that may not necessarily be the banks that can be able to offer the financing you would need for you. KPMG is there, like he said. Exim is there. Your associations, I know FISH, they run a lot of training programs to help you level up. Please take advantage of them. Now, advantage of having a bank with a GHIB or having a GHIB account is being able to do business from Europe, which hitherto you will not have the opportunity to be able to do. If you want to open an account here from Ghana, in let's say NatWest, and let's say Halifax, and let's say HSBC, it's next to impossible. But DHIB gives you that platform to be able to have what you could only have dreamt of. So it gives you that international experience, that exposure that you will not ordinarily would have. Again, from where we sit, we are able to offer you some form of funding and other services that the local banks will not be able to give you directly. So if you work with GHIB, things like certain kinds of transfers, certain kinds of payments that will take the local banks maybe quite a long time to be able to do them for you. GHIB is able to do all those processes for you, especially with due diligence on your counterparties that you deal with. We have robust systems that help us be able to do a lot of checks on these counterparties you are dealing with that the local banks may not be able to do. At least for most of the local banks, the lending they have given you, they have taken asset collateral against the lending. If your importer pays, they are happy, you are happy. But GHIB closes that gap by saying, you know what, we sit closer to those guys in Europe, those guys in Asia. We have means to be able to do a lot of trade risk assessment on them and be able to say, don't worry about that risk. We are ready to onboard and take over that risk for you to go back to your business, which is an offering you may not necessarily have with most of the local bank. Again, we tilt towards, and the world over, it's tilting more towards structured trade finance than asset-backed financing. In GHIB, if you want me to give you $10 million, which I can be able to give you, and you offer to me a 3-story building at East Legon, I'm not a Ghanaian bank. If in process of registration and all those things, I'm not interested. I want to be able to do a trade with you, that you have all your documentation set, that the paper in and of itself and considering it should be able to allow me make a decision without seeking to attach a landed property or any asset you have to lend to you. Which then you must take yourself through a process with the guidance of EXIM, KPMG, and the rest to put yourself up to that level. Otherwise, it will be another emotional talk next time. You must be ready, which is very key if you want to scale up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll take 2 more questions and then we would proceed.
Right, my name is Nana Ochibedu. I work on the UK-Ghana Jobs and Economic Transformation Program as investment manager. So when a senior colleague from KPMG spoke, I thought it was clear and my submission was not necessary, but it looks like it still is. In the sense that, so the advisory services that he was talking about, it's not every SME that understands it, first and foremost, and it's not all SMEs who can access the kind of advisory services which are necessary that the likes of KPMG offer. So some larger SMEs will find a transaction advisor. They will go through a process of structuring the deal, making sure the model works, there's securities, all kinds of things in all, basically all the things you want to see are there, right? And so they get the loan. But for example, businesses like Madame's Own need this service. Sometimes they don't even know it exists. And even when they know it exists, they are not prepared to pay upfront fees of $5,000 or $10,000 that some of the advisors we are looking at are charging. And so, although the business is healthy, it has good cash flows, she has a contract, just by the fact that she's not able to structure her proposal or make it sound the way it should sound, they're not able to access the finance. So there has to be some innovation around providing such advisory services to them. So I know that the Exim Bank, for example, has a whole advisory department, right? So they will be able to do some of these things. I'm not sure how the payment for that works. But is there a way that we can embed the cost of those services in the cost of the financing you're providing to the SME? So that, first of all, they get the service, but they don't pay for it directly. They pay for it in the loan that they have. I mean, it's just a thought. But if there's a creative or innovative way of embedding the cost of the service in something else so that it can be delivered and it's accessible, then perhaps we can get Madame to access it. And then, because if you give Madame training, she's an entrepreneur, she has a lot of things going on, right? She probably won't remember half of it when she actually needs to fall on it. So somebody has to provide that service for her. But the question always has been, who pays for it? Right.
Thank you very much. We'll take another question.
Thank you. My name is Pon Satish from Shrigan Farms, FEDGE executive members. I have a question to Ghana International Bank. I'm working with you directly or indirectly for last 26 years. Just question is, I just want to know from you that how many days transaction, when you do the transaction from UK or Europe, how many days will take it to reach in Ghana account? That's the question number one. And the question number two, that when you are requesting for documentation from people, you put all the egg in same basket. It's wrong. SMEs, you put all the egg in same basket. That means that some of you, I don't want to mention any company name or any bank's name here, they don't have knowledge on export or they don't have knowledge on agric. They got their position, they will sit down on the position and they will demand somebody who is doing export and doing trade different, like I'm buying from somewhere and exporting it. They will come and demand you for EPA certificate. Go and register with EPA. When I ask them what I'm going to do with EPA, they said, no, you are an exporter, you need to register with EPA. Meanwhile, when you finish everything, end of the day, EPA certificate is not needed. So these are the things we demand from you people, that point blankly tell us, we need ABC. Don't say document. When you say document, when we bring out the document, you say, go and bring this one, go and bring that one. Maybe I don't need it like that way, but people are facing that trouble. Some of my colleagues are facing that trouble. So please, tell us if you want example, document, just indicate the document, bill of lading, shipping document, LOC, these, that, finish. But don't go, when we give it to them, go and bring AMA certificate. Operation, AMA certificate different from operation permit. Then go and bring health scanning document. I don't understand. When you are saying something, just say it. The ABC we needed, don't say document we needed, please.
Thank you very much. Exim,
okay,
please.
With the gentleman who mentioned advisory services, yes, indeed, we have a whole advisory department, as I mentioned. We actually hold your hand, as I mentioned, even to the extent of you looking at your packaging, which is also very, very important. And so we run you through the whole process. For now, it is free. So when you come to us, we are not charging it, just to answer your point. So we even if we give you the loan or the facility, we wouldn't take that advisory portion that we give you. We give you that free service. And so you can take advantage of those services now till we decide to charge. So that's what I want to add on that point.
Thank you very much. A quick response from you.
Well, I wanted to tell my very good friend that when I said SMEs doesn't wear code, I'm not referring to his code. I know, of course, you are an accountant, so it's part of your uniform. But on a more serious note, even in this room, when you stood up and made mention of KPMG, right? And you said you have a DEX, an SME DEX. What comes to mind? Can I pay KPMG fees and charges? Can I pay? Hold on. I said, what came to in mind? All of us sitting here is KPMG. Can I go there? If there are institutions that can come because of fees and charges. But the point here is, at what fee, as you said, maybe as Madam Guest said it clear, at Exim there is a service, they give expert advices, it's free, or maybe it's 1 series or it's 2 series. Then when we have the privilege to be here, we will go out and say, look, if you are an SMEs and you go to your expert finance institution and they are turning you back, KPMG is here to support. Go to them at this fee. They will help you. Or go to Exams or go to Ghana Export Promotion Authority. They will help you. We have the institutions here. But as I said, it's lack of information. As I said, it's language barrier. People are shying away because you don't even know what language. If I get there, and when they come to KPMG and your ladies are working and in your BBC, he's scared. Look at your fiscal appearance alone, he's scared that he can't even pay. Meanwhile, you will help the person to grow. I want to come back to my brother. Banks, as GHIB, as you said, I think that in the jurisdiction that you are even working, in London, isn't it? Your bank is in London. And let me say, they build entrepreneurs. In this part of our world, we don't build entrepreneurs. You survey, as I said, mushroom is an international product. So a bank sitting here should be quick to say, no, immediately after here, please, madam, we want to talk to you. We need you. We want to help you grow. We will do A, B, C to help you. Open up to us. The other aspect too is, in Ghanaian part of our entrepreneurs, one person wants to do everything for himself. He or she is not ready to open up. To say, well, me, I'm into production. The trader is, like my brother said, he buys it from her. So why would an institution come and ask of EPA? Because EPA certificate should be done at where the manufacturing or the process is taking place. But he is just buying to package it, prepare it, and for export. So we have to open up and say, okay, my specialization is production. When they come to export documentation, it's not mine. Somebody is an off-taker. That's how we're supposed to do. So that at least we will really expand and grow our industry.
Thank you. Chonam, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, well, thank you. So to be fair to the financial institutions gathered here, all of these banks are highly regulated. So they have to work within their regulatory framework as much as possible. So we fully understand that the requirement of all of these documentations is because they have to meet auditing and regulatory standards. So clearly, all the propositions they have, we do have part of our members in AGI that will entirely qualify and can always access these facilities. So what we're saying is that there's really a mismatch because the majority of the people are not able to. That's really the point. And we're saying that because the financial institutions are heavily short-term transactional and their facilities are really for short-term purposes, whilst the real requirements of the majority of our SMEs are long-term needs. Okay, so they are importing a machinery to produce. They want to be able to pay back in 20 years or in 15 years. But clearly, my friend in the bank doesn't have that time to wait for 15 years because it's for trading. It's really within 2 years. So I'm saying that all of us have to come together to deal with this major fundamental problem. One of the ways I've seen India deal with this is to create in all of their commercial banks, to create special innovative desks to deal with specific needs of the SMEs. So you typically find that they will not require no collateral, and they will just be able to understand your business, come to you, have a conversation, tailor-made a product, and give you long-term financing. And it has worked. So that's why in India, you have several of these SMEs that are really booming. They are booming because the commercial banks have been able to create innovative tools purposely to deal with their situation. And we're asking our friends from the financial institutions to create same so that together we can build Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Eugene, you want to respond?
Yeah, quickly, to your question on documentation. But before that, let me mention that GHIB also have other partnerships that helps us to be able to do some long-term funding. For example, UK Export Finance. And so if you are getting equipment, machinery, and other services from the UK, we have a partnership with them that will help us be able to finance you on long term because they will give us guarantee to back some of the financing that we are doing. We also have some partnership with Afri-Exim that helps us be able to support SMEs. So it is not entirely that banks don't want to support long term or don't want to support SMEs. And from where I sit, I've seen clients that started with $1 million funding from GHIB, and they have up to 15 and 20 million. Clearly, the bank has developed them over time to be able to receive that kind of funding. And I can say same for most of the local banks. When I used to be in GCB, there were customers we nurtured from virtually 500,000, and at the time I was leaving, some were borrowing up to 5 million and the rest. So there is that grooming by the banks, but maybe it may not be that big for everybody to be making noise about. But clearly, banks want to deepen relationship and support customers grow their business. Now, my brother, to your question about which kind of documentation, and that we have to be specific on which documentation and not lump everything under documentation. It's a fair question, but unfortunately, we are still have to say we will need documentation because every export, every transaction is different, and the documentation that will be required to support that particular transaction is different. If you are exporting cashew, for instance, the kind of documentation you will need to support any discounting on any facility is clearly different from when you are exporting ferrous and non-ferrous metals. So if I tell you you will need this A, B, C, D, E, which may not be applicable to your business, I may end up confusing a lot more people than trying to make work simple for them. So what I would say is that, and in terms of documentation, because it is trade specific, but we can talk about general ones. Insofar as you are shipping it, there's going to be a bill of lading that's going to be generated after a number of days when the ship has set sail. We may want to know the country of origin, where the goods are coming from. If they are edible products, maybe those phytosanitary certificates. We also want to be sure if the buyer has particular quantity or quality specification that you are supposed to meet and the rest. But clearly, I don't think these requirements will be same for somebody exporting yam, or somebody exporting mangoes, or somebody exporting scrap metals. I get to the point. So you still would have to take it on case-by-case basis to be able to advise you specifically which documentation set you will need for any particular transaction that you do. Maybe when I've gotten out of here, you can talk to me and I can mention to you specifically which documentation based on the kind of business you do that you will need to be able to access some funding from GHI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 2 more questions.
Coming, the first question. I missed the first question, but if you wouldn't mind, I'm here after the program. I can have all the time for it. Okay, then if you can repeat that question for me, please.
When you transfer money from UK and Europe through Ghana International Bank, how many days or how many, by international trade law, how many days you should be, if you deduct from the consignee account, how many days you should be credited into our account? So that's the international rules. How many days is maximum you can keep the money, or how many hours maximum you can hold the money? That's the question. So answer on that, please.
Okay, I get it now. Just like the documentation, it's also a little difficult to be able to pin. The reason it's difficult for me to tell you 2 days, 3 days, 4 days is the corresponding banking relationship GHIB or the upstream bank relationship GHIB will have to make the transfer possible. If you want to transfer, let's say you are in, you want to transfer money to, let's say, India, and GHIB does not have a direct relationship with India to be able to, with a bank in India to make the transfer possible, you may have to go through a relationship we have with another bank, maybe a Citibank, a JP Morgan, to make sure the transfer is effected to wherever it is you want to take it. So we have to know exactly where it is you want the funds to move from, and then we'll be able to tell you what relationships we have in the chain to be able to enable that transfer. But to give you a blanket answer that if you make a transfer, it's going to take a day or 2 to get there. For some, it may be a day or 2. For some, it may be a few hours. but for others, based on the architecture of or the infrastructure we have to enable the transfer, it may take a couple more hours or days.
To here, and it will take 10 days and 12 days to get into our account.
I think your point has been made. Please liaise with him afterwards, and then he'll be able to give you a more direct answer to that question.
I think his question, don't just say that. As a city, I defend the business people. I think his question more has to ask with Bank of Ghana, if BOG were to be here, because they should be able to tell us when you transfer money, how long does it take to hit your account from Europe? Because they are the regulator. And so maybe we can push this question to the exporters when they are sending their money back home, or if they are transferring their money, they have a challenge. It takes this. It doesn't mean that it comes to sit at the commercial bank's account and they trade with the money before they then show it to our people or what. I think BOG should be the one to handle this. So we'll take it up to BOG. Kabo, I think you heard from him. Let's take it up to BOG. Because as we speak, somebody is sitting somewhere trading their money. And it's taking days. I mean, even it gets a day, an hour. Banks makes money if money is sitting in their account. So,
thank you very much. So you'll take it up with BOG, and then you will get a response. Thank you very much. Next question.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jose Usmans. I'm also with KPMG. Not to belabor the point that has been made, adding on to the point you made around the SME's ability to access services from the business development service providers. So aside the SME desk we have, KPMG, we have experience working with government, delivering interventions for SMEs. We launched an SME Center of Excellence just about a month ago. So when you pick your phone and you Google KPMG Africa Center of Excellence, you're able to get access to that. What the Center of Excellence seeks to achieve is to, first of all, diagnose at a rapid level what the issues of SMEs are. And we've done that across 7 areas: access to market, financial management, their operations management, governance, and all. After that diagnosis has been done, we are able to administer some interventions for the SMEs, as low as 2,000 cedis, if you go on the portal, as low as, and that's directly to address the point you are making. As low as 2,000 cedis, you're able to get some of these interventions. Now, the other end the portal seeks to do is to bring on board investors as well. So it's not just for the interventions, it's also for investors to come on board, and then also we match the investors with these SMEs. So GHIB can actually look at allocating part of your profits to support this initiative and partnering with KPMG to be able to support some of these SMEs, because what it does is it helps you create a good pipeline and reduces your time to access your credit management and all. So please go to SME Center of Excellence and you're able to access these interventions. Thank you.
So it still boils back to what I've said earlier. These are information sitting in your system. We are the people advocate. David is here, I'm here, my brother is here. We will need to know all these things. Then we can advocate for the people to know that don't get KPMG charges others big money. But for SMEs, smaller money. Then the people will come. And of course, is it only one office you have in Accra? Do you have some in Tema? Do you have some in other regions? Just like my dear sister was talking about Exim Bank. Exim Bank has a service free. Do we have it in some of the regions? Even from here to Tema, do you have an office for Exim or not? These are some of the things that we need to ask so that our people, SMEs are not only sitting in Accra. I've told you, some are in other regions. They need your services there as well. Thank you. So expand.
Very much. Thank you very much. So that's a point made on collaborating and information sharing. Please introduce yourself. Kindly make your question succinct. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Catherine, and I'm coming from Minkapre Mose Bonsu, Bruce Kathleen and Partners. I'm a lawyer. I'm listening to the panelists and also some institutions here. My question is, does the association have the means of bringing the smaller SMEs together into a group whereby they can have some form of clinics or seminars for them and bring some of these institutions like the lawyers, the accountants together to be able to speak with them, because listening to Madam Jackie's concern, it appears that, like they are saying, the earlier one said that she may be focusing on her core business, but then the documentation aspect may not be part of her business. So where they can have these SMEs together and then have these institutions come in and then making a service to them. Probably you can all agree on a particular fee that you would want to give. And I think it will be great, and it will also help them to grow internationally, because if you want your business to go globally, then again, you cannot exempt documentation processes.
Okay, thank you very much. That will be our last question, and then we'll wrap up the conversation.
Thank you very much. My name is Imanolan Samprofi. I'm with Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters. I believe Ghana International Bank should dedicate part of their corporate social responsibility, especially for those exporting to the UK market. Now, from past things, you will know that if you go to Peckham, Brixton, or Dawson Market, there was a chunk of Ghanaian products, or what we normally use, over there being sold. But it will surprise you to know, I'm not sure you are surprised though, because the bananas that have been taken there is coming from Colombia. Cassava is coming from Colombia. You will find palm oil that has been labeled African beauty, but you find out that it's coming from Costa Rica. Look at the distance. So what are you doing innovatively to handhold some of these SMEs? And we can help you at FAGE. We have a data of young businesses that are under 35 who are starting to export. Now, if you have such clients, you know that you have a long way, to go to grow with them. Are you strategically positioning the bank in the way that you will be able to do these things? Now, for Exim, I'm glad we had this revelation that you have these advisory services. How can FAGE like this collaborate with you to make it known to the SMEs? Because how many of the SMEs even know where Exim's head office is? If it's in BA, if it's in Techiman, or is at Atebubu, how is he going to find? But we have the strength to go along and then also work with the business development services that has been scattered across all the district. That was developed by Ghana Enterprise Solutions, or enterprise agencies, to handhold these exports, because we can't come here year in, year out and being on the same thing. My last is KPMG. You can't grow these services and keep it in your plush air-conditioned offices. The SMEs will not, by your name self, we are scared. Now you are telling us, you launched this beautifully and you kept it at your center. Liaise with institutions like FAGE, Importers Association, to make sure that you bring this out to the doorsteps.
Add to that, when he was launching it, they didn't invite us.
Don't mind them, we'll just...
Okay, thank you very much. I think your point is well made. Unfortunately, we've run out of time and we have to wrap up this conversation. So I'm going to take 2-minute remarks from each of our panelists. They could use the 2 minutes to respond to the final questions or make their final remarks. Thank you very much. Doc, we'll start with you.
Okay, let me start by saying GHIB is business ready. When I have left the stage, I'll be at the back. Come, let's have specific discussion that relates to your business and how GHIB can be able to help you. We are ready for business and we are ready to support you. If you are not export ready, we will refer you to where we think you can be able to be helped to become export ready, at which point GHIB will be able to take over. Thank you very much.
Madam Akins.
Okay, thank you. Just to answer his question, and I'll just make my point. I'm surprised you don't know about Exim. Your president knows us very well. He's almost every day in our premises. He knows. The SMEs also know as well. Always Ghana is seated there. They know me very well. They know the bank very well. We have some other SMEs who are here. They know we have seminars, we have forums. We invite them, they come. We have stakeholder meetings where we invite the whole value chain of exports. And so I'm sure that maybe I would just reiterate that indeed, yes, we have a whole advisory service that we, assist in, supporting you, get ready for exports and all that. So just, Our branches are also, we are in Ho, we are in Takrady, we are in Tamale, we are in Kumasi, and we'll be opening Techiman very soon. So these are the places that we actually operate from. So thank you so much about that. Now, on the issue of, just to wrap up, I just want to mention that we need more exporters. We need more people to go global with their businesses. Currently, if you look at the sector, we just have about 1,543 exporters in the NTE sector only, solely. And we need to build those numbers up. We need to scale up. And in going up on those numbers, I'm saying it again, 1,543 exporters in Ghana, we need to go up on those figures. We need to have more people trading globally. And we need more of the women trading globally. Currently, a very most promising product or sector that is actually coming up from research and from statistics, let me mention it properly, that we have is that the garment and apparel industry, that's the handicraft industry. I think there's a rep from GEPA here. They will attest to the fact that that industry is soaring. It's actually surged up from 2023 and 2024. If you look at the figures critically, you realize that close to about 22.5% increase or growth in that sector. So it's a very promising sector. Those of you who want to get into the handicraft sector, specifically the apparel and garment sector, that is a very promising area that we could look at and we could, advocate, spread the news, get into export, and you have banks like Exim Bank who will be very ready to support you, because for our 5-year strategy from now till 2030, it's actually the aim or we intend to support that sector critically. So we have poultry, rice, and then the garment and apparel. So you can speak to us after here if you are into that sector or you want to now get into that sector and we could help. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, I think that it's good that UK Chamber of Commerce have begun the initiation, the conversation, and we are here. I want to recommend that we expand this conversation to the regional levels, to the district levels, to open the eyes. And I also want to encourage our commercial banks and then all our international trade financing groups that want to finance SMEs that make it a deliberate policy. Look for an SME, take charge of the SME, give the person all the necessary technical support, and then help the person to grow to become a big billionaire. As you just rightly aware that the president, I'm sorry, David just returned from China. The president was in China some few days ago, and we've told that by end of this month, we shall be having a deal between the China government and Ghana government for us to embark on an export. This morning, I'm hearing that, and we thought that was a good news because the American government has imposed 15% on us, on tariff, and I'm sure many of you in the room here who have started exporting after 30th of September, we started paying that 15%. So China market is a big market. But this morning, I wake up and I'm getting calls from media houses that the EU ambassador to Ghana is saying that the EPA research and their collaborators research that shows that 6 regions out of the 16 regions where illegal mining is taking place, our soil or the mercury had high levels into our products. And for that matter, EU is trying to start sending some red alert to us. It's a big challenge. All of us, exporters, Ghanaians, let us all help the government and help the president, and help the NIMOS to make sure that at least, because indeed the 6 regions are the buffer food. And as you said, apart from Gamo and Para that we talk about, what we export yam, export cocoa, even coconut we export banana, we export even chocolate and chocolate drinks and other things. But if these reports are coming, it's a big challenge to us. And I think that, and of course, traceability. I know that if you are producing your product, please make sure that you let them know where your product is coming from so that they don't when they are blacklisting product, they don't add your own. Thank you very much. This is what I guess want to add. And I think that it's a good day to be here. As I said, we left other programs, but we are here to have this conversation. But the institution like KPMG, institution like GIB and GHIB and others, please also partner with the association, and Exim Bank. Partner with the association, because as my colleague said from the FH, we move, we get to the people. When we speak, they hear. We speak both the English and the language that they understand. We don't wear suit and go to them. We go and be with them, and they know that we are together. So whatever we tell them, they will pick it. So we'll be a powerful tool in advocating some of the services that they can undertake, and it will help all of us. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Final words from AGI.
Thank you. So AGI, being the largest industrial body in the country, will regularly organize several capacity building workshops, seminars. In fact, in the Accra office, which I chair, we do have a program called Knowledge Forum, where we typically bring experts, lawyers, accountants, and all of that to build capacity of our members. The issue is not necessarily just building capacity. Capacity building without corresponding financing is a waste of everybody's time. And our view is that it is only when we create innovative financing mechanism to necessarily support these capacity building initiatives, that's the only time that we'll begin to take the issue of SMEs development very seriously. I thank you.
Thank you very much. This has been a very enlightening and engaging discussion. Thank you for participating fully. We have talked about GHIB being very ready for business. Exim Bank has the solutions and the advisory support services to support you. FAGE and AGI are at your doorstep, ready with the capacity building support that you need. We've talked about innovative financial solutions. The banks are doing great at developing some of these innovations and are going to do even more to make sure that they are meeting the needs of the SMEs in the room and beyond. We've also talked about information sharing, which is very important. A lot of us are doing fantastic work, but nobody knows about it. So we are going to put in extra effort to make sure that the right information gets to the right people at the right time.
Just
Thank
to
you
play
very much.
the devil advocacy, just yesterday, I think those of you who watch on TV3, I was saying that inflation has come from 28 to 9.4, prime rate has come from 28 to 21.5, Ghana reference rate has come down to 16 point something or so, but those of us who are running commercial loans to do our businesses, our banks borrow us at the point of 28% as interest rate, 27, 30%, yet using inflation and prime rate and reference rate today, all these indicators have come down, yet we are repaying our loans. We still pay our loans in that of their rate. I think all of us should push to the government of Ghana or to the Bank of Ghana, call commercial banks to say, no, whilst you were borrowing us at such a high rate, and today using references in inflations and prime rate, and today where we are, we should also recalculate our loans for that to go in consonance with the current prevailing rate.
Thank you very much for your point. And we have now come to the end of our discussion. Shall we take a group photograph before we leave? Let's give the panelists a round of applause. We need to have another session with FAGE alone, shouldn't we? Let's give the panelists another round of applause. All too soon, we've come to the end of our program. I'm sure if we had the luxury of time, we would be here the whole day and would have more in-depth discussions. But unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. Before I call on Madam Huguette Anand, the Ghana Country Representative and Head of Africa Regional Coverage of GHIB, to give us the closing remarks, I will encourage you not to be in a hurry to disperse. There's still a lot of food, and the room is ours to interact. Please get in touch with our dignitaries that are here, our panelists, and continue to ask your questions. Madam Huguette, let's have you come. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. I must say I'm very pleased with the energy in the room. a lot of discussions, the passion, the issues. I'm sure as the deliberations go on, we will find solutions to it. So as we bring this edition, the first edition of TradeFast, to a close, I would like to take a moment for us to reflect on the energy, the issues that have come up, and then the insights and the propositions that have been provided in this room today. It's been a privilege to engage with so many dynamic entrepreneurs, business leaders, and ecosystem partners who are shaping the future of Ghana's export economy. Today's conversation has reinforced a simple truth. Progress is built on partnership. GHIB is proud to work alongside Ghana's financial institutions, development partners, and government agencies to create an enabling environment for SME success. We are especially aligned with Government of Ghana's non-traditional export agenda, the Big Push, EXIM's agenda, who seeks to diversify our export base and promote value-added goods and services. Beyond banking, we recognize the human story behind every enterprise. The entrepreneurs, the executives, teams working closely to build something meaningful. GHIB is here to support that journey, not just with financial tools, but with understanding, collaboration, and long-term commitment. As we close, I would personally extend an invitation to our SMEs, to our associations, that we have a conference, a trade conference coming up. It will be in February in the Gambia, where we bring in all stakeholders to continue this discussion. We would be reaching out to you to seek your thoughts, the issues that you would need us to discuss. As we close, please let's continue the conversation with our teams here in Accra and London. Share your ideas, your challenges, and your aspirations. Let's explore how we can work together to unlock new opportunities and build lasting partnerships. Thank you once again for being part of the GHIB TradeFast. We look forward to walking this journey with you and to seeing Ghanaian business SMEs take their rightful place on the global stage. Thank you. And like she said, please don't be in a hurry to leave. Let's continue the conversation. There's a lot of food. We are around to take your issues, answer your questions, and let's see how we grow the business together. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Madam Huguette. Again, my name is Joanne Saki. I'm the UK's Deputy Country Director for UK's Department for Business and Trade. Thank you very much for being here today. Have a lovely day.